Elijah Wilkinson, another backup offensive lineman that we need for depth. Do you think, obviously he was going to see a ton of snaps in Dallas, do you think they change that mindset knowing there's a very good chance he's going to be put into the starting lineup or certainly put in the mix against Tampa Bay?
Yeah, this is what we were talking about in the first segment, where typically Raheem Morris has always said injury mitigation for any player who's going to be a regular starter for this team in the regular season. But in this particular case with Elijah Wilkinson, I mean, he doesn't have reps at tackle and experience at tackle, and they need to, one, I think, see if he's the guy that they can roll with, or, he needs just the experience of getting out there and practicing it himself.
Is there a notion of moving Matthew Bergeron to a different position?
And that's been, floated as an option. I think it's a reasonable option because, then a Wilkinson could play his more natural position at left guard. That's where he played for the Falcons all throughout 2022. He was the team starting left guard that year and played pretty well. Ultimately, it just depends on how Dwayne Ledford, the offensive line coach, and Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson all kind of put their heads together and decide on it. But there's some different ways to go. You could also, there's the potential that considering the right tackle position is more important for the Falcons than any other team in the NFL outside maybe the Dolphins because they have the left-handed quarterbacks. Would you consider moving Jake Matthews to the right because Matthew Bergeron played left tackle in college? So you put Bergeron, if you're going to move him to tackle, you put him in his more natural position. But as you can see, the more you kind of think about which way you can slice it, the more you're kind of just putting more factors into the equation.
The timing on McGary certainly better than if it was 2 weeks from now. They have a lot of opportunity to look out there, and I can imagine that Terry and his team probably went through every offensive lineman in the 31 teams and started to think about who may or may not get released, anticipating who would maybe think about a trade. I mean, obviously, as you head into Tampa and you head into what was the strength of your team was the offensive line, the veteran status of it, when you think of Kaleb and Bergeron and Matthews.
The continuity between those
guys. Lindstrom, that was one of your great strengths.
Yeah, it's a great point that you make, Steak, about the timing of it. If there is a silver lining to a bad injury like this is the time of the year where there's the most players available outside when free agency starts.
It's also the time of year with the most gap in terms of getting ready for a game. And I know the entire preseason you could say that, but truly once Dallas game is over, there is, and that is
basically have a bye week. I mean, there's a mandatory four-day break for the players during that week. There will be cuts that happen on Tuesday. That's when it's a transaction week for the NFL.
Yeah, 100%. It's the best time if you're going to be fishing, I guess a lot of teams are fishing, but it's certainly a good time to be in the mix.
And Steak, we had been lamenting when the schedule came out for the Falcons how rough that bye week was for them to have that really early bye week in week 5. But now it looks like it actually comes at a pretty opportune time considering what the team is dealing with. You maybe hope that you can get Storm Norton coming back off of that bye, and I think you feel pretty comfortable with Storm, to be perfectly honest. I think you can argue that he's the better pass protector than McGary is straight up.